Could you introduce yourself? Okay. Hi, I'm Lixia. I'm 22 this year. My sexual orientation is bisexual and I go by she, him. What was something that affected you emotionally in a big way? In poly, I actually grew close to a group of queer people within my faculty, and we decided to go together. And that was also when I felt safe enough to go to Pink Dot, because I had a group of people to go with me. So in that event, I specifically told them to not post any social media pictures of me, because I was just so afraid of other people finding out, because I wasn't ready to take that step to come out to people yet. But during that event, I bumped into an old friend of mine from secondary school, and she took a picture with me. And a few days later, I found out on social media that she actually posted it, even though I specifically told her not to. So I walked into church that weekend feeling a lot of dread. I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop because I knew it was gonna happen. And it did happen. So after service, my church leader came up to me and pulled me aside for a little chat in the corner of the auditorium. She sat me down and she basically confronted me and said that she knew that I went to Pink Dot, and she asked me why I did it. When I explained why, she wouldn't listen, and she just said that I was being a stumbling block for the younger people in the church, and that it didn't reflect very well on me. Then she proceeded to ask me about my sexuality and ask me what I really thought and what I really believed. And when I shared with her like who I truly was, it was met with a lot of pushback that really broke my heart, because I was just constantly thinking, how could the people who I grew up with, and how could the people that say that they love me say these kind of things, where it is basically me, but they just keep trying to deny that fact. Actually, ironically, I chose my faith, but I didn't choose my sexuality. So I converted in the Christian faith late in secondary school, because I was going through a lot at home, and I found a lot of peace in the faith, so much so that it actually saved me from reaching like the depths of depression when I was 16. So I found a lot of solace in God, and I found a lot of comfort in the community of the church, because I didn't have a very healthy, functional family at home. So church people were the only family to me, and that's how much they meant to me. So there was actually an occasion where I was having a heart-to-heart sharing with another leader, and then she started counseling me through what the Bible said and stuff like that. And then she wrapped up the session in a prayer. And as she laid hands on me and started praying over me, I was actually crying again. But it wasn't because like I was touched by like a conviction or something, but it was because there was just no words to describe the guilt that I was feeling. And later on in life, I realized that I was actually guilted into feeling this way. So in that prayer, they laid hands on me and they basically proclaimed over me like, Lixia, you are straight, and in the name of Jesus, I say that you are straight because God made you perfectly this way. And when she said the word perfectly, I knew that I would always be imperfect in the eyes of these people. How did you deal with it? Somehow in my journey, I landed up in the streets of NYC, and as I was walking along Brooklyn with a friend of mine, we passed this stationery shop that was selling like postcards and things like that. On this one postcard, it says, I love you, but in a very gay way, in like bright sparkly pink. And so I jokingly picked up that postcard and I said to her, well, that's how you get the girls. And then she kind of like whipped her head around, looked at me from like two steps in front of me, and she was like, wait, are you? And then I looked at her and I was like, yeah. And the interesting thing was that there wasn't even a bit of hesitation to me saying yeah. Whereas in Singapore, I'll be like, haha, no lah, joking only lah, and like try to brush it away. But in that moment, I felt so empowered to be able to just be myself and not even have to like sit down and have a lengthy conversation and be like, here's what it is, I'm gay, blah, blah, blah. But it was just, I think, a moment between like two friends who truly accepted each other for who they were. And I realized that that should be the normal. So after that moment of realization, I actually finally found the courage to be myself and to chart my own path. Because for the longest time, I just felt like I was constantly looking for someone to show me the way, to guide me, to help me navigate like whatever it was. And that courage has actually given me back my self-confidence and self-esteem, and I no longer feel the shame and guilt that the 15-year-old me once felt. What advice would you give your younger self? Lixia, as you grow up, there are going to be a lot of difficult decisions that you have to make. But at some point in your life, you'll come across this poem by Robert Frost that goes like, "Two roads diverge in the woods. I took the path less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." So my advice to you would be to trust yourself, to trust your journey, and to not be afraid to take the road less traveled, because that will make all the difference in your life.